The Galactic Council Chamber was the largest hall in the known universe. It floated above a dying star, a place chosen for its beauty and its warning, the reminder that even stars could burn out. Inside the chamber, thousands of alien delegates filled their seats. Creatures with scales, fur, wings, and even liquid bodies sat in glowing pods. Their voices rose like a storm, echoing against the silver walls. At the center of the hall, a giant crystal sphere projected the image of Earth, blue oceans, white clouds, and green lands. To most species in that room, it was nothing more than a dangerous world full of violent creatures. To them, Earth was a problem that needed solving. One delegate, a tall insectoid with golden eyes, struck the floor with his staff. "The vote is simple," he hissed. "Humanity has grown too bold. They expand. They fight. They resist our laws. If left alone, they will become unstoppable. The solution is slavery. Earth must serve the galaxy, not rule it." Murmurs of agreement filled the chamber. A reptilian senator raised his scaled hand. "They are predators. They adapt to every weapon we use. Their world itself is a death world, and yet they thrive in it. If they can survive such madness, imagine what they could do if allowed freedom." Bird-like creature with brilliant feathers spread her wings wide. "They must be chained before they rise. If we do not act now, their fire will consume us all." The chamber roared with approval. One by one, the delegates began to cast their votes. A light above each pod glowed either green for enslavement or red for mercy. Green after green lit up across the hall. A few reds flickered, but they were drowned in a sea of green. When the final count appeared in the air, the numbers burned themselves into history. 97% voted to enslave Earth. Only 3% voted against. The Speaker of the Council, a massive being of Livingstone, rose to deliver the verdict. His voice was deep like the shifting of mountains. "By the will of the Galactic Council, humanity is hereby declared property of the United Species. Their fleets will be seized, their leaders removed, their people chained. Earth belongs to us." The hall erupted in cheers. Alien voices shouted in triumph. Some celebrated as though victory was already theirs. Others looked on with cold satisfaction. To them, it was not just a vote, it was survival. But amid the noise, there were whispers. Whispers from those who had studied humanity closely. Whispers from those who remembered Earth's wars, Earth's rebellions, Earth's endless fight for freedom. A small amphibian delegate leaned toward his neighbor and croaked quietly, "Do you not fear them? Do you not remember what they did in the Orion Wars? 10 worlds stood against them and they still won." His neighbor, a hulking beast with 4 arms, only laughed. "That was chance. This time the galaxy stands united. Humanity has no allies. They will be broken." Still, the amphibian's eyes trembled. He remembered the reports, their soldiers, fighting even when wounded. Their ships ramming into enemy vessels rather than surrendering. Their leaders speaking of hope even in the darkest hours. Humanity did not break easily. The vote ended, and the council moved on to execution. Fleets were dispatched, chains were forged, announcements were broadcast across the stars. Earth is enslaved. Humanity belongs to the galaxy. Billions cheered on distant worlds. Merchants began to prepare markets for human labor. Armies sharpened their blades, ready to march into human cities. To most species, it was already over. But on Earth, there was silence. No protests, no cries, no speeches. Human governments gave no reply. Their fleets remained hidden. Their leaders said nothing. The galaxy mistook this silence for fear. They believed humanity had finally been humbled. But silence can mean many things. Sometimes silence is surrender, but sometimes silence is the storm gathering before it strikes. One alien general, a wolf-like commander with gray fur, looked uneasy as he prepared his fleet. He had fought humans before. He remembered the fire in their eyes, the way they fought, not for survival but for defiance. He whispered to his crew, "Do not trust the council's words. The humans will not bow. They never bow." His officers laughed. "They are only one world against thousands. Their silence proves they are broken." The commander said nothing. He simply stared into the stars, knowing deep in his bones that this silence was dangerous. Far away, deep within the shadows of space, human ships stirred. Black warships, silent and unseen, powered up their engines. Generals studied the Council's broadcasts with cold, unblinking eyes. The vote was clear. The galaxy had chosen chains for humanity. Now humanity would choose its answer. The Galactic Council believed the humans had been broken. With the vote declared, fleets were mobilized. Thousands of ships, frigates, cruisers, and dreadnoughts moved toward Earth's corner of the galaxy. To alien leaders, it felt like a simple task. They had united against a single world. How could one planet stand against so many? And yet, as the fleets advanced, a strange unease spread through the ranks. Reports began to arrive from the edges of human space. Outposts that were supposed to be captured were gone. Not destroyed, not conquered, just gone. Entire stations vanished without a distress call. Patrols sent to investigate never returned. At first, the Council dismissed these reports. Glitches, they said. Accidents. But the pattern grew. Every fleet that moved too close to human borders went silent. Their signals cut off. Their ships disappeared as if the stars themselves had swallowed them. A council aide whispered to his master, "Perhaps we should wait. Perhaps the humans are stronger than we thought." The master sneered, his scaled face curling. "They are cowards hiding in the dark. This is only fear. Once our armada arrives, Earth will be crushed." But fear was already spreading among the soldiers. A reptilian recruit spoke quietly in the barracks. "What if they are waiting for us? What if this is a trap?" His sergeant barked at him to stay silent, but the question lingered in every mind. Meanwhile, on distant human colonies, life continued in silence. No messages were sent, no protests broadcast. Alien spies reported nothing unusual. Factories worked, people walked their streets, children played. And yet, there was something chilling about their calm. A species marked for slavery should have been desperate, should have begged for mercy. Instead, humanity was waiting, watching as though it knew something the galaxy did not. Inside Earth's hidden command centers, the silence was a mask. Behind steel walls and deep underground bunkers, leaders met in secret. Admirals and generals gathered around glowing maps of the galaxy. Their voices were low, controlled, but their eyes burned with fire. One admiral spoke, his tone sharp. "The galaxy has chosen. They will send everything they have. If they believe we will kneel, they are mistaken." Another leaned forward, her voice cold. "They think we are prey. Let them come closer. Let them believe their victory is certain. When the trap closes, they will understand." The humans were not idle. Their silence hid preparation. Factories ran day and night, building weapons never before seen. Massive warships cloaked in black steel, powered up in hidden shipyards. Soldiers trained in secret, drilled for war with unmatched discipline. Every child of Earth knew the truth. Survival meant resistance. Back in the Galactic Council, some began to doubt the decision. A crystalline senator whose body glowed with inner light spoke with unease. "This silence. It is not natural. Other species beg, they cry, they collapse under our rule. But humanity, why do they not speak?" A predator-faced general slammed his claw against the table. "Because they are broken. Because fear holds their tongues. Do not mistake silence for strength." But still, unease spread like smoke. Even among the council's citizens, rumors grew. On alien streets, whispers filled the air. The humans are planning something. The humans are waiting. Mothers hushed their children when they spoke too loudly of Earth. Soldiers tightened their grips on weapons when they heard the word human. And then the first great fleet disappeared. It had been one of the Council's proudest armadas. Armed with thousands of ships led by a warlord who had never lost a battle, they crossed into human space with banners raised, prepared to enslave entire star systems. But their signals went dark within hours. No distress calls, no escape ships, nothing. An armada wiped away as if it never existed. The council hall erupted, in chaos when the news arrived. Some shouted for reinforcements, others demanded explanations. A few dared to whisper the truth. The humans did this. But how? How could one world defeat such a fleet? A frail amphibian delegate croaked in fear. We should not have voted for this. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is dangerous. His warning was drowned in arguments, but those words lingered in the shadows. Dangerous. Yes, that was the truth. Out among the stars, in the cold void of human space, a massive warship drifted silently. Its hull was black, its weapons hidden, its engines burning with quiet fire. Inside, human soldiers stood at attention, their eyes sharp, their armor gleaming. A general walked among them, his voice steady. "The council believes we are prey," he said. "They believe silence is weakness, but they do not understand. Our silence is not surrender, it is war, and when we strike, the galaxy will remember who we are." The soldiers did not cheer, they did not shout. They simply nodded, their faces grim, their resolve unshakable. For humanity, the storm had not yet begun. The Council's fleets had surrounded human space like a tightening noose. Billions across the galaxy believed the war was already won. Markets prepared for human slaves. Alien news broadcasts spoke of victory before a single shot was fired. But then the first true clash came. An enormous alien armada, larger than most empires' entire militaries, entered the Sol system. Their ships filled the void around Jupiter, engines burning bright, weapons armed. At the head of the fleet, a dreadnought commander raised his claw and gave the order. "Advance on Earth. Make them kneel." For a moment, silence filled the comm channels. Then, the void itself seemed to awaken. From the darkness beyond Saturn, ships emerged, black, angular, and massive. They did not broadcast warnings. They did not demand surrender. They simply fired. The opening barrage was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Invisible beams tore through shields as though they were paper. Missiles the size of buildings streaked through the void and shattered capital ships in seconds. Alien formations collapsed before they even understood what was happening. The dreadnought commander screamed orders, but his voice was drowned by alarms. Shields failing, hull breaches, engines offline. His bridge crew scrambled, their screens filled with red warnings. Then a human warship locked onto his vessel. A single shot, a beam of blinding light, cut his ship clean in half. The Council's fleet panicked. Ships broke formation, scattering in chaos. Some tried to flee. Others fired wildly into the dark. But the humans moved with terrifying precision. Every strike was calculated, every maneuver flawless. It was as though they had rehearsed this war for centuries. On alien worlds, live broadcasts captured the horror. Citizens who had cheered for Earth's enslavement now watched as entire armadas burned. Families clutched one another, their cheers turning to silence. For the first time, they realized the truth. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the predator. Back in the council chambers, panic spread. Senators shouted at one another, blaming their neighbors. "You said they would break," screamed a feathered delegate. "You said they were weak," roared another. But no one had answers. Reports continued to arrive. Fleets destroyed, outposts lost, planets abandoned, and still, Earth had not spoken a word. In the depths of a human flagship, General Armitage stood on the command deck. Around him, screens displayed alien fleets collapsing in real time. His officers worked with quiet focus, not wasting breath on celebration. "Target the carriers," the general ordered. His voice was calm, almost cold. "Leave survivors only, where they can spread the message. We are not here to conquer, we are here to teach." A lieutenant turned to him. "Teach what, sir?" The general's eyes were sharp as steel. "That humanity bows to no one. The humans struck system after system. They didn't occupy. They didn't enslave. They simply destroyed the councils, fleets, dismantled their strongholds, and vanished back into the dark. Every battle ended the same: swift, brutal, and decisive. Soon, alien soldiers began to refuse their orders. Entire garrisons deserted rather than face human fire. Commanders begged the council to withdraw. Citizens rioted, demanding peace. But it was already too late. In one infamous battle near the Vega system, 3 entire council armadas converged, determined to crush humanity in a single blow. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Billions watched live as the fleet surrounded a single human warship, a lone vessel, outnumbered 10,000 to 1. For a heartbeat, silence reigned. Then the human ship moved. It, too, unleashed weapons no one had ever seen. Kinetic strikes that tore dreadnoughts apart, stealth drones that ripped through carriers, gravity warheads that bent space itself. In less than an hour, the greatest fleet in history was reduced to wreckage. Out of tens of thousands of ships, fewer than 50 limped away, and the lone human warship, untouched. Across the galaxy, fear became legend. Children whispered the story of the Black Ship. Soldiers refused to march against humanity. Whole species who had voted to enslave Earth now begged for mercy. The silence was broken at last. Humanity had answered, and their answer was fire. The galaxy had never known fear like this. Entire fleets that once filled the stars with firepower now floated as wreckage. Planets that once mocked humanity now whispered its name like a curse. The council chambers, once a place of arrogance and power, had turned into a den of panic. The speaker of the council, his body of living stone cracked with worry, slammed his hand against the floor. "We must unite again," he roared. "We still outnumber them. Humanity cannot stand against the entire galaxy." But the chamber was no longer united. Delegates shouted over each other in chaos. A feathered senator cried, "My people have lost 3 fleets. We will not send another." A reptilian warlord hissed, "Your weakness dooms us all. Fight, or they will come for you next." Yet deep down, they all knew the truth. Humanity was already coming. Across alien cities, the change was clear. Streets once filled with celebrations after Earth's enslavement now lay in silence. Merchants who had prepared markets for human slaves now locked their doors in fear. Mothers hushed their children when they asked questions about Earth. Soldiers deserted in the night, unwilling to face the Death Worlders, and then the envoys began to arrive. From the farthest corners of the galaxy, leaders of once proud civilizations traveled to Earth's borders. Some came with treasures, gems, rare metals, star maps, as offerings of peace. Others came with broken voices begging for mercy. Entire planets sent messages across the void. "We regret the vote. Spare us." The humans listened, but they did not answer. Their silence now had a different weight. Not weakness, not a waiting storm, but judgment. One desperate ambassador, a crystalline being whose body shone with cracks of light, arrived at the orbit of Mars. Surrounded by human warships, he spoke, through trembling words. "We were wrong. We feared you, and so we sought to chain you. Forgive us. We will never stand against Earth again." His message echoed across the galaxy. Billions heard it, and billions more followed. Soon, every world that had voted for Earth's enslavement sent their apologies, their tears, their bribes. The Council, once the ruling power of the stars, now begged for survival like frightened children. But humanity did not enslave in return. Instead, they answered with fire only when challenged. Fleets that resisted were destroyed. Worlds that bowed were left untouched. Humanity made no colonies, claimed no new thrones. They simply taught one lesson again and again: do not raise your hand against Earth. This restraint terrified the galaxy even more. Aliens could understand conquerors. They could understand tyrants. But this was something worse. Humanity did not want their planets. Humanity did not want their chains. Humanity only wanted freedom, and for that freedom they would burn galaxies to ash if needed. In one final act of desperation, the Council sent a delegation to Earth itself. The most powerful species, once proud rulers, stood before human leaders in a hall of steel. They knelt. Voices that once demanded chains now whispered pleas. "Humanity," the speaker said, his voice shaking. "We beg for peace. We beg for mercy. We beg for forgiveness." For a long moment, the humans said nothing. Generals, leaders, and soldiers stood in silence, their faces cold as stone. Then one human commander finally spoke. "You voted to enslave us. You voted to break us. And now you beg us to save you from your own decision." His eyes swept across the alien delegates. "We are not your slaves. We are not your property. We are humanity, and we bow to no one." The hall shook with silence. The aliens dared not look up. And when they returned to their worlds, they carried with them a truth heavier than chains. Humanity could not be ruled. The galaxy had fallen silent. Where once the Council's orders echoed like law, now only whispers remained. The alien fleets were shattered, their pride burned away in battles they had never truly understood. Planets that once dreamed of enslaving, Earth now trembled at the sound of its name. But humanity was not finished. For weeks the galaxy waited. Would Earth conquer? Would they enslave in return? Would they take vengeance on every world that had voted for their chains? Alien citizens feared the arrival of human warships in orbit, feared the thundering march of human boots on their streets, and yet nothing came. Human fleets lingered in the dark, watching but not attacking. They moved like shadows, striking only when provoked. Then they disappeared again, leaving entire sectors to wonder if they were safe, or if they were simply being spared for now. This uncertainty was worse than open war. Empires begged to send gifts, begged to sign treaties, begged even to kneel if it meant survival. The Council, broken and humiliated, demanded Earth speak at last. Finally, they received their answer. It came not through envoys, not through ambassadors, but as a single broadcast that reached every world at once. No one understood how the humans had done it, but the message appeared in every starship, every city square, every home. Screens turned black, then flared to life with the image of a human commander. He stood tall, armored in black steel, his face lit by the glow of distant stars. His voice was steady, sharp, and carried the weight of a species that had endured chains before and vowed never again. "You voted to enslave us," he began. The words cut through the silence like a blade. "You thought chains would hold us. You thought fear would break us. You thought humanity would kneel." Across the galaxy, billions held their breath. The commander's eyes burned with defiance. "But you forgot who we are. We are children of a death world. We do not bow. We do not break. We rise." Behind him, the shadow of a massive warship loomed, its weapons glowing like suns. The sight alone made soldiers on distant planets collapse to their knees. The commander continued, his tone now rising like thunder. "We did not seek this war. We did not seek to rule you. We asked only for freedom. And for that, you voted to chain us. Remember this day well. Remember what your arrogance has cost you." His words echoed for what felt like eternity. Then came the final strike, not of weapons, but of truth. Humanity bows to no one. The broadcast ended. Silence followed. On alien worlds, crowds stared at their screens long after the image had vanished. Some wept in fear, others in shame. Soldiers dropped their weapons, refusing to march against a species that had just spoken with the voice of destiny itself. Children whispered the words again and again. Humanity bows to no one. The Council never recovered. Its authority collapsed within months. Worlds withdrew, empires turned inward, and the galaxy that had once united to enslave Earth now fractured in fear of it. Humanity, meanwhile, returned to its silence. Its fleets guarded their worlds, but they did not conquer. Its leaders spoke little, but they watched everything, and in every corner of the stars, the story spread. A warning passed from parent to child, from soldier to recruit, from leader to citizen. Never underestimate Earth. Never vote against humanity. Never forget the wrath that silence hides. For generations to come, the vote against Earth was remembered not as a victory, but as the greatest mistake in galactic history. A mistake that taught the galaxy a single unshakable truth: humanity bows to no one.